I think those of us who have had the experience of having to bridge big divisions like that are real good catalysts for what's going on in the world now, where there's just so many divisions being sown everywhere. And so if you're already kind of used to holding these two paradoxes and knowing that there's something beyond this that contains all of it, and I would call that God or love or source or whatever it is that contains the ground of being, that contains all of it, all of it. There is no real division. But your upbringing, I think, could be really, really helpful, not only in the work you do, but also in helping to bridge the divisions that our world is facing now. And of course, the spiritual path is where it's at, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any other reason to be alive personally than to dive deeply into the spiritual path. And it could look differently for different people. And I truly feel there are as many paths to God as there are human beings. We're all so unique. We're also uh, preciously idiosyncratic. And it's important for us to respect that there are differences on the path. It doesn't make us less or better than each other. In fact, we should celebrate that. And I love having interfaith conversations. In fact, one of the stories I share in the book, Love Does Not Know Death, is a trip that I took in college to India. I went to Varanasi, or Kashi, the locals call it, and I spoke about religion and globalization at a conference. And here I was surrounded. It was a very interesting moment. Surrounded by mostly Hindus in India talking about the need for interfaith dialogue, having been exposed to two Judeo-Christian traditions. And by then I was deeply studying Buddhism and Hinduism. And when you go to the Eastern traditions, there's a whole other way of viewing reality. It's vastly different. They're not theistic in the tradition, in the sense that we're used to in the Judeo-Christian traditions, and yet there is a fundamental ground, like we talked about. There's a ground of being that can hold those traditions as well. And I find the exposure of belief systems does that to you. It forces you to say, what can hold all of this? And to this day, I haven't found anything deeper than love that can hold all of this. And Rumi says it so beautifully. He says, "My religion is the religion of love." I think he nailed it.
You did nail it. Yes, and I think you're right. And I love is the definition I have for God. It's really interesting when you look at prayers or anytime the word God is used, just slip in the word love and see how that kind of shifts the feeling of the whole thing. Because love can hold it all. Love can hold all of it. And actually, I've always said that there's many, many, many paths to God. As many people as there are on the planet, many paths to God. But I do believe there's one door, and maybe that door is love. That
That's
we
beautiful.
walk through that door, so we can all get to the top of the mountain in whatever path we do, we take, and some can be long and arduous, and some can be straight up. Um, but there is one door, and we all have to step through that one, and that's the I am, the love, the unconditional love, and that ultimately is something I think we each face to get to the other side, to the allness. But anyway, uh, those are my thoughts.